Lord Belgrave is back, and this time it's about Ripple escrow and institutions. We have to hear what he is talking about right now. I'm going to go over it in detail. We also have Jay Claver saying that major institutions are stacking XRP behind the scenes and keeping the public in the dark. I also have Ripple's plans for 2026, what they're going to be focused on, plus a ton of other XRP news, guys. But we have to start with the most important piece, Lord Belgrave post. Lord Belgrave claims to be an ex-Citi London banker in Bitcoin since 2016, XRP since 2018. He has put out a lot of tweets over the last year. A lot of the information has been very interesting to go over and listen to, and it does feel like this guy does have some inside knowledge, but I'm just telling you, it's impossible for us to verify who he is. I just want to give you that full transparency as we go through this information. All right, you ready? Nobody is supposed to know this, but as promised, I am sharing this with you. And I need to be precise in how I say it. From what I witnessed over the years, Ripple's escrow was never intended to represent loose corporate ownership waiting to be sold into the market. It was engineered with intent, lock supply, deterministic release schedules, multi-year horizons aligned to institutional readiness rather than just speculation. In the rooms I sat in, escrow was spoken about as effectively pre-allocated liquidity, not public assigned, not disclosed, but conceptually reserved. The assumption in those discussions was that significant portion of escrowed XRP was already accounted for in future system deployments. Those conversations were governed by extremely tight NDAs, and they were extended far beyond the United States. They include institutions across Europe, the Middle East, and Asia, central banks, systemically important financial institutions, multilateral bodies. The IMF and the BIS were referenced in the context of global settlement architecture, not marketing partnerships. I want to be clear. I am explaining the framing that was presented internally. The escrow was treated as a committed future liquidity, not operational inventory. Now look what has changed. The shift in tone from these institutions, particularly since Ripple secured the OCC bank charter approval, and the sudden use of language historically specific to Ripple's framework, suggests that long-term standing NDAs might be approaching expiration. When a system moves from preparation to deployment, ambiguity disappears, NDAs begin to expire. What was quietly reserved becomes operational. Wow. All right. I mean, there has been a lot of speculation about the Ripple escrow and who particularly owns it. Is it assigned for somebody or somebody, right? The BIS, the IMF, central banks. And so it would be really incredible to start getting some more information. If NDAs do start to expire, the public will gain a lot of this knowledge. And I'm looking forward to understanding some of that, and just going over it with you guys in detail. I'm really looking forward to that. All right, guys, if you get value from my content, please hit like. It does help me get in front of more incredible people like you. It is the holiday season, so people are traveling, and I really, really appreciate you. I hope you had a good Christmas, and I hope you have an amazing New Year's plans. Let me know down below what you're going to do for New Year's. All right, here's Jay Claver. He says major institutions are stacking up XRP behind the scenes while keeping the public in the dark. How could they do that? The current price is merely a shadow of what's coming. When XRP transforms into the foundation of international finance, today's hesitation will become tomorrow's regret. In my opinion, nothing in the crypto space offers this level of certainty and potential massive returns. All right, a few things here. Major institutions are stacking up XRP in the dark and not telling the public. I'd imagine that some institutions are pre-planning and buying XRP, and yes, they probably don't publicly disclose that. So I do think that's accurate. He's making it seem like there's like a big conspiracy behind the scenes to buy XRP and keep the public in the dark. I don't know, man. I don't know if you're like trying to get people to buy XRP to pump the price before the end of the year to hit some of those numbers you're trying to do, or if you're just trying to communicate that you know things that other people don't and you want to share those. Whatever it is, I'm excited to see what happens with XRP in 2026. And I'm really rooting for Jake that one of his predictions actually comes true. I'm really hoping for it. And I hope it's the bigger one, right? The $1,000, or was it 2,000 or 1,500? I don't know. There's been a few. I get a little confused sometimes because there's so many, but I hope it's the 4-digit one. Okay. That I really do. Okay. Let's continue. I thought this was incredible. I played this in another video a few days ago. This is basically an Ethereum maxi admitting that XRP in 2026 is probably the better investment than Ethereum. I didn't know, like, I thought somebody had died. Like, for somebody to come out and just admit that he was wrong about XRP and Ripple, I mean, that's gold, right? You are starting to see more and more people get on our side. People that have fought us for years, that have just said nasty things, and they can't even believe, like, he's being interviewed or he's having this conversation with two other people, and they can't believe what this guy is saying. If you haven't gone back and seen this 6-minute clip that I played in the video, maybe yesterday or the day before, go watch that clip. It is worth all the weight in gold.
I think Ripple has a higher probability than pretty much any other crypto network in the top 10 to, if everything goes down, they actually have a higher probability to reach that all-time high, whereas I'm very bearish Ethereum going back to its all-time high.
You're more bullish on Ripple hitting an all-time high than Ethereum?
See?
And ETH, yes.
Wow, all right.
I think Santi just really wants to be on that first clip in the beginning. Like, that's what's happening here.
The number, Santi like wrote on a whiteboard, the community is on Twitter. He's like, how can I troll each and every one?
This is the last point I made. He said decentralized product strategy in BD does not work. Decentralized security, but centralized product decision-making is the way to win. Ethereum does not have that. Across the board, like, ETH as an asset is not worth 300 and whatever billion, 350 billion. Dude, Ripple at least is 182 billion. Visa, 600 billion. I think Ripple has more breathing room to use its currency to buy real businesses, to build distribution and a product, and has more time to put out, whereas some of the other projects do not, because the market is losing its patience.
I think you are seeing the team, right? The team matters so much. With Ethereum, you have Vitalik Buterin and you have Joseph Lubin. Over here on the Ripple side, you have Brad Garlinghouse, Monica Long. I mean, David Schwartz is leaving, but Chris Larson. You have some forward-thinking, incredible minds that understand where they need to go, what pieces of the puzzle that they still need to do. And on the other side with Vitalik Buterin and Joseph Lubin, they're so interested in trying to do everything that they cannot do just a few things perfectly, right? And that's what Ripple does. They go in and they master one thing at a time, and then they move on. And they build out these development teams, and they build out these products, and they are acquiring business, and they are being surgical with what they are doing. And people that bet against Ripple and XRP, I think you're going to have regrets in the future here, right? Like Jake said, in my opinion, nothing in the crypto space offers this level of potential for massive returns. What he said, when XRP transforms the foundational of international finance, today's hesitation will become tomorrow's regret. I do think that a lot of people will look back and say, man, I probably should have done a little bit more due diligence, right? I mean, we want all of this technology to be successful. We don't just want one thing to rule them all. And, you know, if you only own XRP, you probably only want XRP to be successful, but you really need Ethereum, you need XRP, you need Solana, you need Chainlink. All of these are going to be vital pieces of the financial future. And without all of these pieces, you're not going to have a complete system. So what is it? Brad Garlinghouse says a rising tide lifts all boats. That's how we need to be thinking, right? Not bashing other communities or other tokens, but how could we build bridges and work together? I think that's going to be the most important thing into 2026, into 2027. And let's go on this journey together, right? Let's do it together. All right. The Wolf of Wall Street, Scott Melker, who goes out of his way to say all kinds of negative things about Ripple and XRP, but finds time to post stuff about it for his engagement. Great to see you, Scott. Hope you're well. Merry Christmas. Ripple XRP partners with Japanese banks Securitize Japan, Mizuho, and SMBC Nikko to boost XRP Ledger adoption. I covered this a few days ago in detail, but if you don't know, the new partnership Ripple is working with Mizuho Bank, SMBC Nikko Securities, and Securitize Japan and Japan Financial Infrastructure Innovation Program, the JFIIP, to push stablecoins, tokenization, and credit products on the XRP ledger. Ripple and other major Japanese financial institutions launched the JFIIP to an accelerator that gives roughly $10,000 grant to startups building on the XRP ledger. They're going to be focused on stablecoins, tokenized real-world assets, and credit infrastructure. Strategic partners named, of course, we did talk about all of those already, so I'm not going to get into that too much. But Mizuho was one of the Remember, you guys have all seen this. If you've been in the XRP space for long enough, you've seen this. But here is Mizuho, right? And so Ripple has been working with them for some time. They're expanding that partnership, but does it all come back to Vanguard? And then is it all, connected to Ripple and XRP? We'll have to see how